Shall I be her?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the unforgettable roles that saw movie stars changing their entire sound.
Hello! Ah! Oh, I'm sorry to frighten you, dear. I must look like a yeti in this getup.
Number 10, Bill Skarsgård, Nosferatu. Bringing this silent masterpiece back to theatres had director Robert Eggers and actor Bill Skarsgård pulling out all the stops.
They break the laws near, and on the bells of dawn shall toll in despair of my coming.
The director told the actor that he wanted Transylvanian bloodsucker, Count Orlok, to have the deepest voice that he could muster without digital effects. To achieve this, Skarsgård trained with an opera singer.
I never wanted the voice to feel put on, so I wanted the voice to kind of surprise myself as I was performing it, that it would just come out of me as opposed to being forced out of me. And that meant for a lot of work.
The process saw him activating bass notes that he didn't even think possible. He was even doing Mongolian throat singing to keep his voice low and sonorous. When he speaks in character, his voice is guttural, with exaggerated rolled R's and resonance that only legit vocal training can generate.
Of course, sir.
Lord.
Pardon me, sir.
Your lord. I will be addressed as the honor of my blood demands it.
Number 9, Mercedes McCambridge, The Exorcist. One of the most memorable performances in the 1973 blockbuster horror classic is given by an actress who never even appears on screen.
I'm a friend of your mother's. I'd like to help you.
You might loosen the straps, son.
I'm afraid you might hurt yourself, Reagan.
I'm not Reagan.
Academy Award winner Mercedes McCambridge provided the voice of the demon-possessed little girl in The Exorcist. According to director William Friedkin, she achieved the demon's voice through some unconventional means.
If it's this close in me right here, I'm only a human being. It's that close in everybody. Everybody can from this second forward. That isn't hard.
McCambridge drank raw eggs and smoked for hours. She even broke her sobriety to swill whiskey to make her voice worn out and creepy enough. The crew actually tied her to a chair so her voice could reflect the tension of being restrained. McCambridge's one request was that her priest should be there with her.
You utilize everything. Don't analyze, utilize. And I utilized the thickness, all of that stuff, for the voice of Lucifer.
Number 8, Meryl Streep, The Iron Lady.
I hope you appreciate what an inspiration you've been to women like myself.
Well, it used to be about trying to do something. You see, now it's about trying to be someone.
Hearing the 3-time Oscar winner wearing a different accent is not really new. Meryl Streep can slip into another accent like a pair of comfortable shoes. But with her performance as former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, she also taps into more heaviness and gravitas.
This is a day to put differences aside, to hold one's head high, and take pride in being British.
There's a harshness to her tone in the role that is unlike many of the parts that she's played before. Not only does she have to play Thatcher at the peak of her powers, but she also plays her as an older woman, with a voice weighed down by age, fatigue, and illness.
What we think we become. My father always said that. And I think I am fine.
Number 7, Lupita Nyong'o, Us.
What do you want? What?
Starring as a woman whose family is terrorized by murderous doppelgangers from below the surface, Lupita Nyong'o has to find ways to differentiate the two characters that she plays. The voice is key, and adopting an American accent is only half the work. To play Red, her malnourished and neglected tether, Nyong'o studied a condition known as spasmodic dysphonia.
It's a condition that is brought about by a trauma, sometimes emotional, sometimes physical, sometimes just inexplicable, where your vocal folds start to spasm and they create this kind of irregular pattern of air and this kind of interesting modulation of the voice.
As a character who has suffered trauma to the throat, it's not far outside of the realm of possibility that she could have it. The actress's research into the condition gave her a realistic example to work from. The effect is chilling, but also very authentic.
Once upon a time, there was a girl, and the girl had a shadow.
Number 6, Johnny Depp, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It was tricky, you know, in a sense, because, you know, initially you start thinking it is a very large pair of shoes to fill. So you start worrying about that and you go, well, why don't I just make another pair of shoes?
The mid-2000s update of Roald Dahl's story was a bit more whimsical than the 1971 Gene Wilder version. Johnny Depp's take on Willy Wonka was way less angry, but somehow even creepier.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
His characterization has him dropping his normally deep and soulful voice and finding something a little more unsettling. As the eccentric chocolatier, he goes for a light and airy sound with lots of upward inflection and even a few gleeful squeaks.
What's the special prize and who gets it?
The best kind of prize is a surprise.
Depp took inspiration from the forced joy and upbeat personality of a children's television host. It turns the character into a funhouse version of Mr. Rogers or Captain Kangaroo.
Let's go put him in the taffy puller.
Taffy puller?
Hey, that was my idea. Boy, is he gonna be skinny.
Number 5, Mia Goth, X franchise.
I need to be famous, Wayne. I'm ready for the high life. I'm sick and tired of never getting what I want.
Dual roles are not exactly unheard of, but English actress Mia Goth has to swing wildly between two very different characters. As adult film ingenue Maxine, she employs a high southern twang that often goes shrill. As the elderly Pearl, Goth taps into an entirely different sound.
I was a dancer in those early years. Then the war came, so not everything in life turns out how you expect.
Pearl is a decrepit creation. Everything about her is weathered. That includes her voice, which is heavy with age, disappointment, and eventually deep rage and bitterness. But the real kicker is Mia Goth's true voice. You don't really know how crazy her vocal work in the X trilogy is until you hear her speak for real.
So I was born in London, and then when I was 2 weeks old, we moved to Rio. And then my mum's Brazilian. And then we lived in Rio for a couple of years, and then we moved back to London, and then we moved to Rio again, and then we moved to London. And then we moved to Canada. My dad's Canadian.
Number 4, Austin Butler, Elvis.
I would usually wake up every day around 3 or 4 in the morning with this terror. It was just such a daunting thing, and I really just was guided by my terror, really, because I would go, I don't know how to sing this one line of a song, or it would be a certain word that he said. I couldn't figure out where the placement was and what the architecture of my mouth should be.
Talk about committing to a role. Fans couldn't help but notice that Austin Butler's speaking voice was notably higher in his younger days. Part of that is age, but a lot of that has to do with his Oscar-nominated role in Elvis. Butler's vocal range outlasted his time on camera. Presley's southern drawl is only one component.
I think from all the singing, I probably have destroyed my voice a bit. You know, my vocal cords, it's a lot raspier now. Yeah. And so I just trained a lot.
The lower pitch of the singer's voice was especially important, and Butler nailed it. He lived and breathed the role, even having to perfect his singing voice for the movie, which uses a mix of Butler's own vocals and the original Elvis Presley tracks.
I'm only made out flesh, blood, bone. But if you're gonna start a
Number 3, Jim Carrey, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
The Grinch!
Embodying Dr. Seuss's infamous Christmas-hating anti-hero, took several hours of suffocating makeup every day. Producers actually arranged for Jim Carrey to receive training in enduring torture to cope with it.
If you're freaking out and you start to spiral downward, turn the television on, change a pattern, have someone you know come up and smack you in the head, punch yourself in the leg, or smoke as much as you possibly can. So I was this Grinch sitting
But what's just as impressive is the vocal embodiment the Grinch required. Carrey imbues the misanthropic creature with a braying, mush-mouthed voice and hard-to-place accent that feels perfectly measured.
You never mentioned an award.
Yeah, with a trophy and everything.
And I won?
You won!
That means there were losers.
I guess. So if you come
down for losers. I like it.
Instead of skewing villainous, he constantly sounds like a petulant buffoon. Carrey's Grinch becomes believably terrifying, but he also sounds too funny to take seriously as a real threat. It is a children's movie after all.
Your cheeks so...
I know. Hairy.
No.
Greasy. Stinky. Do I have a zit?
No. Warm.
Number 2, Robin Williams. Popeye. We heard him go to the top of his vocal range as Mrs. Doubtfire, but the famously versatile funny man probably had an even bigger challenge in Popeye.
You dare!
Hey, your mother's here?
So what? You bet on
Pleased to meet you, ma'am. I'm a mother myself.
That's his mother. I can't bust when it was his mother.
It may not be Robin Williams' most famous performance, but this take on Popeye the Sailor Man is almost uncanny. Notable for his acidic, gruff vocalizations, the character is iconic, but it can't be easy to put on the voice for hours at a time.
I'm just starting to train for it now, do a lot of acrobatics and work on some man's helping with the voice. It's a lot of...
That's coming.
Is that the voice? Not yet.
Williams manages to completely change his timbre to play the muscle-bound sailor. The cough drop budget on this movie must have been out of control.
I'm one tough gazookas that hates all palookas that ain't on the up and square.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Dustin Hoffman, Tootsie. Playing dual roles, the actor shifted his voice to portray his female alter ego.
My name is Dorothy. It's not Tootsie or Toots or Sweetie or Honey or Dow.
Oh, Christ.
No, just Dorothy.
Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood. The 3-time Oscar winner taps into something deeper and darker as a vicious oil tycoon.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Michelle Williams, My Week with Marilyn. She doesn't just have to master Monroe's screen voice, but her real one as well.
All people ever see is Marilyn Monroe. As soon as they realize I'm not her, they run.
Hugh Jackman, X-Men franchise. The Wolverine actor's singing voice was actually damaged by his character's growling.
I know what you are. You lost your money. You keep this up, you lose something else.
Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump. Hanks modelled his voice after the boy cast as the younger version of his character.
I just sat next to her on that bus and had a conversation all the way to school.
My back's crooked like a question mark. These are gonna make me
And next to Mama,
narrow.
no one ever talked to me or asked me questions.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight.
I'd seen what world it was that I would be playing in, so I knew it was open for a fresh interpretation, and I also instantly kind of had something up my sleeve.
Christian Bale later said that he had to deepen his voice for the superhero character of Batman because it was the only way he could believe himself in the role. But it's the vocal transformation behind his most formidable supervillain that's the real shocker.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things.
Heath Ledger's Joker is chaos incarnate. He is full of tics and dangerous energy, but it's his eerily raspy, forced manner of speaking that really sells you on the Joker's volatility.
They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Considering Ledger's usual buttery vocal pitch, it was a huge change to his style. It's one of the many reasons we're still talking about the performance after all these years.
This town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm gonna give it to them. Tell your men they work for me now. This is my city.
What actor's vocal transformation impressed you the most? Tell us in the comments.
We have to make them respect us. And they will, but it will take time. But we have time, so we start small.